Ladies and gentlemen, this is your protostar Kyle Fletcher. Please say my full name when you address me, and you're listening to the SmarkTank Revolution.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SmarkTank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. I am your solo host again, Joey. It's time to get down to business. And yeah, given the day it is, I figured, the power playback was originally going to be a chronological order from the first In Your House onwards. But then I realized that's quite an undertaking. And to keep my own attention span, which is quite limited, I would say jumping around would be much better. So I'm picking times and dates in wrestling history where, it's apropos. And as today is the eve of Saturday night's main event with John Cena versus R-Truth, the never-before-seen 17 going against that guy who never remembers wherever they are, I decided to do a review of Saturday night's main event. Now, I know what you're thinking. No, I'm not going to go back to the 80s and do the first Saturday night main event, but I am going to do the first Saturday night main event that has returned, which was 2006, right before WrestleMania in Chicago, WrestleMania 22 to be exact. And so what I've decided, because everyone loves when I review Shawn Michaels matches, that I do another one. And I'm going to review Shawn Michaels versus Shane McMahon in a street fight. And I just watched this a few moments ago, and I haven't seen this probably since it aired back in 2006. So quite a way back in time. And I got to say, it really, really holds up. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those matches that I can't remember in 2006 or those dark times in WWE where we got stuff that good on free television. I do remember, surprise, surprise, John Cena versus Shawn Michaels in England. Another match. It's just something funny about that guy. He seems to be able to put on these stellar matches, but I'm not going to continue to glaze Shawn. I'm going to be as objective as possible. And so I happen to be a huge fan of Shane McMahon too, so this helps. This is really cool. I don't think Shane gets enough credit for how good of a worker he was in all these situations back in his heyday. Yeah, he had some stinkers from time to time, but never back in that original run. Him versus Test, him versus Kurt, him versus, even Triple H at times. He was always really good at his part, but it's not even just his part. He was just good at it. He sold he was a bump machine, and he sold like no one's business. But he was also extremely giftedly athletic. And that's what you want in a street fight. You have two people who are not afraid to take to the high spots and, to jump off large things. And I really dug it because Shawn went right after Shane the second the music hit. The moment the music hit, didn't even get to finish his entrance on the ramp, and Shawn was already on top of him, like boom, 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 boom. And that was refreshing to see because most of the times you always get a situation where, everyone gets their entrance, they get to come into the ring, they get to do their shtick, their, pose, and then we get down to business. This time it was just like, boom, straight down to business. This is how it's happening. I apologize. We have some guests on the outside, and my dog is getting a little upset, but that's okay. The show must go on. We're going to keep going forward. So yeah, this didn't overstay its welcome. It was a good 20 minutes, and it was fantastically well done. I mean, it was essentially a handicap match. It was Shawn versus the McMahons, and if I remember correctly, this was the year, I know that he faced McMahon at WrestleMania, but also I think it was the tag team match between Vince and Shane and Shawn and God at Backlash, which was awesome. Just good stuff, and again, this was a dark time for WWE. There was a lot of just stagnancy, other than some bright spots. And Shawn obviously was one of them. Randy Orton was one of them. you had some bright spots. This is when John Cena became very formulaic, but I would dare say that John had some good bangers too. I mean, John went against Triple H in a great match at WrestleMania with an unbelievably unpredictable outcome. No one thought John was going to go over, Paul. No one thought that was going to happen. And yeah, I'm calling him Paul. We're on a first name basis. But yeah, so this was great. This had all the things that you would want. You had the ladders. You had a superplex onto the tables from, the outside of the ring by Shawn onto Shane. That was a killer spot. You had the coast to coast, like with the Van Damme homage. You had just a lot of stuff that, just fun, good spots, and a lot of nefarious tag teaming behind the ref's back and whatnot. But I will say, I forgot, and I haven't watched this in so long. I had a funny feeling during the middle of it. I'm like, is this going to end in a Montreal-esque way? And sure enough, it did, where Vince had to put Shawn in the sharpshooter with Shane and screw him and remind us all how great he is and how he did it to Brett. And it really did what it was supposed to do, was just stoke the flame and give you just a warm-up pilot for WrestleMania, which I will argue is an even better match. Shawn versus Vince at WrestleMania is a fantastic match. Probably the best match that Vince McMahon was ever carried to, I would say, besides maybe St. Valentine's Massacre with Austin. I'm not sure, but Shawn carried Vince to a fantastic match, one of the best on that card. And again, I'd like to be as objective as I can, but when you're talking about a subject matter that's just so damn good, you can't deny the talent. But you can't deny Shane McMahon's talent either. Shane McMahon was just stellar in this. Like I said, he didn't get enough due. If David Arquette could be WCW champion, I don't feel like Shane shouldn't have got the WCW title during the Alliance run. I think it would have been fun just to have him have that, but I don't think you would ever do it now. And Shane's in arguably better shape, or was in better shape, let's say about 5 to 6 years ago, than he ever was in his heyday, but he never quite got back the ability of his wrestling chops. His wrestling chops never hit that level again that they did during the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression era. They just never really matched up with what he was capable of during those time frames. But I do implore people to go back and watch it. It gets a solid 3 count for me on the STR scale. It wasn't something groundbreaking or revolutionary. It was just a really fun trek down memory lane and a nice little appetizer to whet the palate for tonight's Saturday night main event, which, again, I implore all of you to watch it. Never before seen 17. And you got a really amazing tag match with, Seth and Braun versus Punk and Sammy. I think that's going to steal the show. So I'm very excited for it. Excited to keep doing these power playbacks. I hope you guys are enjoying these. I don't know where I'm going to jump to next, but usually the idea is I want to try to stay appropriate. So if it's like a Backlash is coming up, I'll probably do a Backlash, something close to that. But I will be jumping around in all time frames, so you never know. So keep your eyes open and take care.